Hello, welcome to another video. I'm on board the Heathrow Express heading out of London's Paddington station. Today it's all about Las Vegas, heading off to Vegas. So if you want to join me on the British Airways flight to Las Vegas, having a look at their Club World product, you're in the right place, and let's go.
Traveling the world on planes, trains, trams, and more. Join Mark Hopwood as he shows you some of the great journeys he's made. Let's travel to a whole variety of destinations. Remember to drop your comment below, like and subscribe, turn on the notification button, and never miss a video.
So this video is a first for me. Many flights taken, of course, with British Airways, but this video focuses on the A350 1000 in the BA fleet.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black bat?
London Heathrow Terminal 3 with the emblem of the bearded man who runs Virgin Atlantic just behind me. You might say, Mark, I thought this was a video about the British Airways Club World product to Las Vegas. Surely you should be in Terminal 5. Well, you need to pay attention. Terminal 3 is the British Airways terminal for a small number of their intercontinental and European flights, and I'm here at Terminal 3 to check in for their Las Vegas flight. It gives me the choice of all the One World lounges, so we'll be going to have a look at those. This video was going to be all about the World Traveller Plus product, the premium economy product that British Airways have on their long-haul flights on the Airbus A350. But I received the tragic news on my way to the airport that British Airways have upgraded me and put me into their Club World cabin. So I'm deprived, dear viewer, of the opportunity to share that experience with you, but I'm sure the Club World product will be worth a watch on video as well. And they've put me in the middle part of the cabin without a window seat. So I'm going to have a little chat with them at check-in just to see if I can do anything about that. So let's see how we get on through check-in, and then I'm through the security. We can't film that, but it is the new security scanners they have here in Terminal 3. No need to take your liquids and all your other bits like your electronics out. And then I've got the One World lounges, the Qantas, the American, the BA, the Cathay Pacific lounges, all available to choose from. So I'll have to think how I manage my time prior to the British Airways flight to Vegas this evening. I'll see you on the other side. So it's a busy Terminal 3 departure lounge at London Heathrow on a Friday afternoon as I make my way from that security point through the main lounge past many of the shops, heading to where the lounges are. Many of you may know, but Terminal 3 has all of the airline lounges lined up in a row with letters. So that's, of course, where I was headed to have a look at the various One World lounges. In the end, I chose the Cathay Pacific lounge, having checked my flight on the departure board. Getting a little bit closer now to the Cathay Pacific lounge, which is in Terminal 3. It's Lounge C. C's for Cathay. This is Lounge B, the Qantas lounge. Didn't go in there, could have done, just didn't have enough time to do them all properly. Qantas lounge is regarded very highly, so it's on the list for a future visit. And just a reminder, of course, if you're traveling with a One World airline and you're in business class or you've got One World status, you can use any of these lounges. So despite the crying child in the background, I headed to the lift and up to the Cathay Pacific lounge. Checked in, and they have two lounges, first and business class. As a gold card holder, I was allowed in first, even though I only had a World Traveller Plus ticket and actually an upgrade to business class. So here's the menu. Look at that. Fantastic choice of food. Western, English dishes, plus the Chinese. I went for the Asian choices. There's dim sum, my chor soy bun, and then the dim sum selection underneath. Both were delicious. My only slight criticism was they delivered all my food at the same time. So you can see my main course there, the beef with the red Thai sauce and the rice waiting for me, getting a little bit colder, but it was fine. I had some Chinese tea, I had a little cocktail, and for my dessert I had a fabulously fresh fruit platter. Really spoil in the Cathay lounge. It does get very busy. Of course, I'm not the only one to have worked this out. So hello from the first class lounge for Cathay Pacific here in Terminal 3 at Heathrow. But I arrived at the British Airways check-in facility. Had a chat with them at check-in. They gave me the last window seat they had available, which was 7k for kilo, so they said. Made my way through security. Security here at Terminal 3 wasn't great. They've got the new scanners, and that should be a good thing. But the scanner had some technical problems. So I'm starting off in a good place. I've got my upgrade for a Club World Suite on the British Airways A350 1000. So I'll see you on board. Before I commenced my quite lengthy walk through London Heathrow's Terminal 3, I thought I'd show you the Cathay Pacific First Class Lounge. Some great seats there, which I took advantage of, looking out over the apron, over the runway. Here's a buffet. Good choice of various snacks, starters, bit of hot food you'll see in a moment, some desserts, and it's an eclectic choice, you know, fresh fruit and other stuff there. Doesn't naturally fit with the Cathay Pacific Far Eastern model. Some of it's not English food either, so slightly odd mix. Some things there under the hot plate. But it's all pretty good quality and it tastes really good. Coffee machine, cakes and muffins, and a bar with reasonable selection, not the biggest selection, reasonable selection of wines, sparkling wines, spirits, mixers, and some soft drinks, juices to choose from. You can make your own cocktail, pour yourself a drink. That's how it works in the Cathay Pacific Lounge, which I think is a great facility, especially if you can use it and you're not flying with Cathay. Checking my flight there, the BA 275, with the instruction to get myself down to gate 34. So for me, it's cheerio to the Cathay Pacific First Class Lounge, and very much enjoyed my time there. That's the reception where you check in, but out into the throng of the main terminal and making my way down to the gate that I was allocated. But I did just have a little nosy at the entrances to some of the other lounges. There's a summary of the lounge on that digital screen that you can see there, and I'm following quite a few other passengers who are making their way down to the lounge. The Virgin Atlantic Clubhouse there on the left, also used by Delta passengers there. Up the stairs and straight ahead, the recently reopened American flagship lounge, which is okay but not great, and maybe we'll have a look at that in a future video. There's quite a lot of vending machines around the terminal, and you keep walking because it's a lengthy walk in Terminal 3. Now, if you were paying attention to the screens, the airport departure screens, you would have seen that it told me to make my way to the gate. It didn't say anything about the flight boarding. So I was slightly surprised, as you often get sent to the gate in plenty of time to get there and find that the advanced groups had already boarded and they were boarding the main cabin of the aircraft. Not quite so pleased with that. I don't think they'd switched on the boarding screen message as quickly as they could have done. So I was in a queue with the rest of the aircraft. Obviously a big economy cabin, we'll see that in a minute, but I was on board the BA 275. Wasn't long before we were pushing back from our stand 34 at Terminal 3. Relatively slow push, but of course this is one of the British Airways flights each day that makes its departure from Terminal 3. There's a few, most of them are allocated to Airbus A350s on the long haul and some of the short haul flights as well. with the Airbus fleet. So after we pushed back, the tug was detached, of course, and then we made our way under our own power towards the runway. We'll have a look at the route for that, but let's look at this flight. The BA 275 with the call sign Speedbird 2 Mike Whiskey, because there's too many aircraft around with the 275s. That's our route out over quite a big chunk of Greenland and North America. We'll look at that shortly. Bravo Golf, the A350 1000 with its Rolls-Royce Trent engines, 10 hours 33 minutes in my Club Suite. A big aircraft, the 350 1000 with quite a large economy class cabin, seating I think 219 passengers, 56 in Club and 56 World Traveller Plus. That's me in my seat, 7 kilo in the front cabin of the Club World Suites. And that's our departure, a Woburn 3 Golf, looking at the standard instrument departure sheets on the BA 275 heading out of London Heathrow. Let's look how we did that push and taxi. Taxi out on the northerly side of the airport and then down on the eastern side, lining up runway 27 left and commencing our takeoff roll. A right-hand turn immediately after departure takes us out over Slough, right-hand turn Burnham to head north on that Woburn departure over Milton Keynes and the West Midlands, and then sort of bearing left to head out over Stockport, Manchester, Morecambe, just north of the Isle of Man, between Scotland and Northern Ireland, and then out over the Atlantic Ocean for our crossing, which is quite a northerly crossing today. It's a crossing that actually took us just south of Iceland, over northern Greenland, and then of course making land over Canada, and quite a large chunk of flight over Canada, and then down over the Midwest USA, Salt Lake City in Utah, and then heading towards the state of Nevada. A pretty simple approach. We approached the runway from the east, so it was a very simple turn onto the runway heading, and that's all that our approach actually needed. I'll show you that just before I feature the landing of this aircraft at Las Vegas. We'll have another look at the flight radar approach and the landing on this flight, the BA 275. So back at London Heathrow, we were taxiing now towards the threshold of runway 27 left. As always, of course, a few other aircraft to depart ahead of us. Heathrow is always pretty much busy unless you leave on one of the very early morning or one of the very late night departures. So our turn had come and we were now slowly making our way onto the runway, turning to get that line up for runway 27 left without wasting too much of the runway. I'll let you enjoy the takeoff from London Heathrow on this Airbus A350 1000 with the 2 very large Rolls-Royce Trent engines.
other smoking devices is not permitted at any time while you're on board. And these include the toilet, which is fitted with a smoke detector. If you sit in a proper cabin, please take care that your personal electronic device does not get lost underneath the seat, and if it does, please do not move the seat and let us know. We are pleased to have...
Well, I hope you enjoyed the takeoff and climb there out of London Heathrow from 27 left. Time to have a look round the Club Suite. That's my table. I've just pulled that out. In fact, let's pull that out again, shall we? And have another look at it. And there you go, flip over. So plenty of room on that table. Allows you to do your eating and drinking, of course, with plenty of space. But also you can get your laptop out, you can work, you can read and review papers. That's what it's like underneath, a little storage area, the foot cubby as well. Let's flip that open. You can see I've put, what have I put in there? Headphones, the BA headsets, another phone, the control panel there for the seat, and then a second storage area, quite a bit smaller, that one, shallow, but a few bits that I was using the storage there for as well. Amenity bag, bottle of water, a mirror there as well. You can store stuff in there. I've got my papers and an iPad, some reading material that I had stored in there as well. Look, that's what the seat looks like, showing you some BA archive footage now so that I get you a better view without passengers around. When it is, if I'm honest, a bit tricky to film. That's the Club Suite, fitted adjacent to windows. You can see it's very smart. There's quite a bit of space. Most people seem to like the seat. It's not quite as good if you're traveling as a couple. Originally I was booked in World Traveller Plus, so that's the World Traveller Plus cabin. Relatively small but bigger than many other airlines, 56 seats. Looks quite pleasant actually. I think I could probably have survived my flight to Vegas in there if I'd have had to sit there. Not so sure about this, the economy class cabin, 9 abreast instead of the 777s, 10 abreast, slightly narrower aircraft, but there you go. So I had my iPad up and running with Flight Radar 24. By this time we'd passed over sort of Liverpool and Manchester. We're heading towards the coast at Morecambe, and everyone beginning to settle down, but no food and drink had yet been offered. Bit of a cloudy day, and time I think to have a quick look at the menu. So let's see what British Airways were offering on this flight to Las Vegas. Well, there you go. There's some cocktails, the standard BA cocktails and mocktails, some spirits, some liqueurs, which they offered us fairly quickly. Lunch stroke dinner, starters, main courses, desserts. Do pause this if you want to have a look in more detail. And then as we headed towards Vegas, a light meal with a starter, a main course and a dessert was offered. Standard beverages, good choice of champagne, sparkling wine, white wines, red wines, 2 of each. So perhaps a more limited choice in that department. So I went for the mocktail, really enjoyed that, served with a snack mix. Not so keen on that, I'd prefer proper nuts. And then my first course was the soup. So that's roasted red pepper soup with the herb croutons. It was served a little bit lukewarm, cold actually, in places, not mixed very well. So that was my complaint about that. But actually taste-wise, consistency-wise, very good. Bread roll, very small little salad there as well. I had a glass of the white wine. Oh look, there you go. Just in case you need a demonstration of how to eat a bread roll on a British Airways flight. There we go, as I make my way through my first course on this BA flight across to Las Vegas. And yeah, cheers to you as well, and testing the wine for you as well. So on to the main course. I had the cod. It's grilled North Atlantic cod, Indian style, with Bombay potatoes, 5-spice broccoli, wilted spinach, infused tomato and coconut sauce with black pepper, and then a dessert there, lemon meringue bar with fresh raspberries. And After all of that, I decided, oh, there's a daytime flight, to extend my bed, get a bit of rest using the white company bedding that British Airways provide, and just a bit of footage here. It's quite difficult to film this as you're doing it. That's the BA Club World larder. Some sandwiches, some snacks, some fruits, and a selection of drinks. You can go and help yourself. Other snacks available. Pretty good selection. Not a lot of people using that, and they did keep it stocked up, which they don't always do on British Airways flights. So I got some sleep, some rest, watched the entertainment, and then it was time for me to have the ticket infused spring chicken salad as my starter on the light meal as we came in over the Midwest of the US. And then well, I thought that was very tasty. I then moved on to the chicken and tarragon pie with pepper mange tout and a lemon chive sauce. Chocolate mousse dessert, no choice there, and of course the standard bakery selection. All reasonably good, I have to say, apart from that soup to start with. So you can see the sun beginning to set over western US. It's quite a long flight for us, plus the time difference. And here we go. This is the arrival as we approach Las Vegas from the east. You can see pretty simple arrival, and once we landed, relatively short, straightforward taxi across to the international terminal at Las Vegas. So once we've taxied off the runway, you can see it's getting dark here in Vegas. Onto the stand, quick glimpse of the aircraft as we disembark the British Airways A350, and then with my global entry I was through in no time. Amazing is the word to describe it. Really quick, really fast. My complaint here at Vegas though is international arrivals. You come through this door and they pretty much forget about you. There's no taxis, there's no transit. You have to walk all the way down the terminal. My taxi though took me here to Harrah's, my hotel for the evening on the Las Vegas Strip. True classic Vegas hotel, of course, with the Vegas casino that you'd expect. Not too busy. Good night's sleep after a quick flutter on the machines, and up the next morning. New York ahead of me, driving around Las Vegas, having a quick look with nice weather, sunshine, clear blue skies. Some of the latest developments in Vegas which have happened. Well, as it says on the sign, welcome to fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. I've arrived on that British Airways A350 1000. It's the next morning. I'm down on the south side of the strip here at Las Vegas, right next to the airport. I'll quickly swing round. You can see some of the business jets parked up there behind me. Great experience, obviously lovely to get that upgrade from British Airways, very kind of them. Enjoyed the flight. A few issues with the service that you saw, but overall great experience. And landing, you can't film these things unfortunately, but global entry was just amazing really. I got off the plane, no luggage, straight through, quick scan having done the mobile app, and I was out in, I don't know, 2 minutes. So really, really great taxi straight into Vegas. So I look forward to catching you on the next video.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and click the notification button so you don't miss any of the great trips Mark has coming your way on this YouTube channel.